Good morning, everybody. This is the voice of Aggroed. You are currently hearing a recording of the Hive-Engine weekly developers team meeting. You can see our text as we're going. I do have my voice recording this time. Sorry I didn't go post the last one. I gave like a big fat monologue at the beginning about, what's the vision for Hive-Engine and what we're doing, and only realized that the mic and OBS weren't recording. But I'm staring at the screen right now. I know it's recording, and I'm feeling pretty good about this. The big picture of what we're really going after is making sure that all of the tribes have the ability to make NFTs. And that's the next kind of iteration of everything we're doing. That's Tribe 2.0. Tribe 1.0 is we can distribute tokens, and Tribe 2.0 is that you can use those tokens to purchase NFTs. And Tribe 3.0, which will be even further down the road, is where you can start easily building in utility to your tokens, to those NFTs, so that they can do more and more stuff. That stuff starts with ownership. You can own something, and then moves, and it escalates up to permissions and authority. Authority is when you can actually do the thing, and permission is when somebody else can do the thing and they allow you to. It's kind of like delegation. It's the equivalent of delegating tokens, but it's for NFTs. I own it, but I allow you to use it. So, anyways, that's just some of the big picture of what we're doing. We're gonna go distributing to making it really easy to do NFT purchases, and then we're gonna do everything we can to make it easy for the tribe owners and the token holders to allow their NFTs not just to show ownership, but to have real authority, and then also permission that authority out. So, and I think as that happens, some of this comes from Plan B put out or puts out regularly his sort of stock to flow model, and it looks at what is the hardest type of currency out there. And Bitcoin is near the top, but it's not actually the top. What's actually the top is real estate. And real estate are kind of like NFTs. They're all unique. They are in certain areas, and that areas actually makes them sort of funky. It forces them to be geographically limited, because your audience for like a house in the Caymans isn't actually like global. It's just people that want a house in the Caymans. Whereas something like an NFT, it is anybody in the world with internet access that's heard about your project and might actually want that. And they're not restricted by their local government or by other governments or whatever. It's kind of international commerce. So really exciting stuff, and there's a lot of steps to go through. There's stuff that we have to do on the front end, which is all the websites that you'll see, and stuff on the back end, which is stuff that most people won't see. Maybe the developers will see it and understand it and love it. But what we're trying to do here is build a fast, scalable, smart contract platform that makes it really easy for business owners to get out the word, to distribute tokens, and accept those tokens back for value in the form of NFTs. And then give those NFTs some sweet authority and permissions. Okay, so that's kind of the big picture stuff that I wanted to talk about. Not quite as epic as my rant the last time, but so today we have we launched diesel pools last week, and things have gone really well. There's like 10 or 15 different diesel pools. So there's probably $50,000 or $60,000 worth of stuff that's sitting in those diesel pools now. And they're getting some decent usage, and that's all before any kind of reward system is in place. That's just Hive-Engine putting up some project owners putting up some, just because it's good for the project. But the next step for all that, Don Chait is not here. He's the guy that's working on the smart contract for this stuff. We're modifying one of the mining contracts to go, instead of look at, well, how much of your miner do you have staked? Now it's asking, well, how much of the liquidity pool do you have staked? And then it's assigning rewards based off of that. So pretty soon you're going to be getting some sweet loot for staking into these various pools. I know that I'm interested in working with the witnesses for Hive-Engine to go figure out, can we get some B into reward pools. Not tons. I know it will be undervalued. It'll be undervaluing the contributions, but I really want to leave the full bits and pieces up to something like a DAO. So the dream here is that, you know, B is a token. We can inflate that token, and I want how much inflation to be left up to the worker B owners, and I want where it goes to be left up to the B stakers. And the B stakers, it's important that it works that way, because then it inspires you not only to stake the B into the diesel pools, but it inspires you to just stake the B by itself to determine which diesel pools it'll go to, and that'll all be dictated by, you know, the stakers voting on proposals from the DAO, and we can distribute tokens that way. So I don't know if anybody's still with me, but look at the proposal system on Hive. Let's go bake something like that into all the different tribe tokens and allow people to vote proposals, and the money doesn't have to go to individuals. It could go to contract addresses, and that could feed the inflation rewards for, say, staking your token into one of these pools, and the whole community is voting to say yes, and this is how much we want to go into that. So exciting stuff to me. I think the reward pools are possibly done on the back end this week. Maybe it's next, but the reward for staking into diesel pools is coming along nicely and should be here soon. So the witness system, I'm trying to go talk for two folks that aren't here. So I've spoken a little bit for Don Chait. For Eon is working on doing the token distribution like we do for Scottbot, but adding that to a smart contract platform, or a smart contract version of that on Hive-Engine, so that all that distribution isn't handled by us in a centralized format. It's handled by all of the witnesses in a decentralized format. And so he's thinking that at least the back end for that, we think will be done by the end of the month, which means we'll have created layer 2 smart media tokens in this month. That's the goal. And then there'll be some work that Riaz and possibly Lion or Bait have to do in order to go get us a nice way to interact with that. But that's what's coming, fellas. I think it's pretty awesome. So I've given a quick update on just sort of the vision. I've given an update for Dawn. I've given an update for Eon. There's a third dev who will go unnamed for the moment, who's working on like the bid, a bidding or an auction system. So we'll see if that gets programmed in the not too distant future. There's some work being done there as well. Okay, so then I think we're up to Mancer now. Mancer, do you want to go? I want to copy in sort of the short-term goals that I see for everybody. And while I go do that, do you want to give us an update on where you're at with the Ethereum bridge, the ERC20 bridge, and what you think is coming after that?
All right, sure. So work continues on the Ethereum bridge. I made a lot of fantastic progress last week. Let me paste in the current project status. Okay, so here we go. You can see a couple more things have been tacked on to the end of this since last time. And my focus over the past week has been adding support for multiple tokens and ERC20s, and that work is almost wrapped up now. So there's only a little bit left to do. I'm finishing off the code for it, and I have to do a bit of testing, kind of clean things up a little bit, but I expect that will be all wrapped up this week. So after that's done, then Riaz can start adding support for it to tribal decks.
Can you be more specific on? Hold on. Be more specific on that, because what you just said is amazing. So this week, what are we? Just be like real bare bones about this. What are we adding to tribal decks and Hive-Engine as a whole this week?
Okay, so this week we will be able to launch the first version of the gateway, which means that we will be able to have ETH deposits going into Hive-Engine, and you'll be able to trade swap.eth and withdraw it and basically use ETH. And on the back end, what I'm wrapping up this week is adding support for ERC20s. So this week we'll be able to launch with the ETH, and shortly thereafter we'll be able to launch with ERC20s as well. So you'll be able to have your favorite ERC20s like Rep or Coin or whatever, and they'll be able to trade on Hive-Engine as well.
So this to me is freaking huge. I've wanted this for like, how long have we been talking about this? 2 years almost? You know,
yeah, it's been quite a while.
We just have to keep punting it because there's stuff that's more fundamental. But finally, we're at the point where all the degenerate Ethereum dudes can come here, ape into a couple different projects, and go full degen. We're getting there. It's going to be like, come do that here because there's no fees. Like on the Ethereum deposit. Some people are. I get all kinds of. Everybody wants to tell me like how to do this job and how to go make this thing work. We have fees. There are things that we can do with fees. And actually, one of the things I want to do is make it so that the more B you have staked, the less fees you're going to have to pay. That to me is coming sort of after some of this other development work that Mancer has on his plate. But in the meantime, one of the first things I'm doing is just allowing Ethereum to be deposited with 0 fee. There's still going to be a 1% withdrawal fee, but I want that Ethereum money getting in here. I don't know that this is going to be permanent, that it's a 0% fee to get in, but at least to start, for Ethereum itself, it's going to be a 0% fee. And hopefully that gets us all the Ethereum degenerates that want to go hog wild into projects. They can come here to Hive-Engine and experience that same kind of thing.
So Riaz just finished work on the QA site today to get the Ethereum deposits working. I'll let him elaborate a bit more on that in his update. But it's looking really good. I've already tested and played around with it, and it works great. And my next task after getting multiple tokens and ERC20 done is going to be automating the addition of ERC20s. So the idea is, all right, yeah, we can manually set some of these up ourselves and add them, but it would be really, really great if the individual users could actually add them. So you could say, well, I have my favorite ERC20, I really love it, it's got great potential, but I don't see it trading on a Hive-Engine yet. So you could click a button and get it added to Hive-Engine. That's kind of the goal of that. And some additional work needs to be done on the back end to support that. But I think it's pretty feasible and won't be a major undertaking.
And for the record, there will be a fee associated with that. I know that he didn't say that, but come on, that's how this thing works.
Yep, I was leaving it to you to mention that part.
Yeah. I'm happy to put that in there. If you'd like to get listed or you want your project listed, we're going to keep it inexpensive. I want this thing to be inexpensive, but there's no fees on this thing as you're trading, and that's purposeful. I want the regular user experience to be as frictionless as possible, but I have zero qualms about charging groups a fee in B to go list tokens or do anything else. And as right now, I'm going to keep it pretty damn inexpensive. But as this thing keeps heating up, there'll be more hell to pay. As volumes go up, I will increase those fees. But until then, it's going to be 1,000 B to get your ERC20 listed. So what is that, like 0.1 ETH or something? To the Ethereum gods, it's basically an inconsequential amount of money. And it's more of just a pain in the ass of like, how do I deposit Ethereum to get B so I can do this stupid thing? So that's a fun position to be in. Hopefully it makes it so that all these projects want to go deposit and come over here. And hopefully that's going to go drive some B sales. And hopefully that's going to get us a whole bunch of volume from all these other ERC20s where people just want to go do crazy degenerate shit with them.
So that's it for me. I'm just going to keep plugging away on this gateway, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, so I put underneath here. Here's some of the goals, and so this is this isn't quite the same as like a roadmap, right? A roadmap is going to have things like deadlines and whatnot. But prior to the roadmap, you just got to figure out the goals. So I don't have any dates in this. This is too short of a format to try to do that. But for Mancer, the goals are going to be ERC20, wrapped Hive-Engine tokens, maybe BSC integration, that's Binance Smart Chain. That Binance Smart Chain, it uses an Ethereum virtual machine. So it's possible that we can just integrate with BSC. I know that there are some changes that we're going to have to make for how we stream blocks and whatnot, but that is a potential. And then if we can figure that out, then actually figuring out how do we integrate with all these like Ethereum virtual machine token ecosystems would be good. And also wax integration. So I think that that's something we got to figure out how to map our NFTs to the other chains, but that's on the list. For Lion, I want to see Ethereum support for deposit and withdrawal. And I guess this is a little bit faster, but we got to get the ERC20s for deposit and withdrawal into Hive-Engine Classic. DSwap, we're going to need some of these cryptos added. And now that we've added pools, we're going to have to figure out how do we add pools into the DSwap functionality. For Eon, his full work right now is the smart contract SMT tokens. For Riaz, just generally we have the add Ethereum, and then we have add NFTs to OpenHive and Tribe 2.0 as big picture stuff. Bait, we have Hive-Engine Classic on Android and iOS, and then I really want to get this dual avatar system working, because there's a whole bunch of avatar stuff that I think that we could do, and it might even apply to every single tribe, so I want to get the first instance of this up and running. And then Dawn is working on the pool rewards contract, then a DAO. Maybe we take a moment to pause and just bring Goose Finance, which is a DeFi project over here. I want to get some of these algo stable coins written that are native to Hive-Engine, and then I want to go back to the mining contract and go work on NFT influence mining, so that, like, you know, you have your diesel pool, but now I own a couple tokens, so it means that I can mine in that diesel pool faster. That's what I mean by that. Okay, so that's kind of big picture stuff. Let's go over to Riaz. Riaz, why don't you tell us about your ERC or your Ethereum work on tribal decks, and then what else you've been doing, and what's your immediate plan as to how we're going to execute?
Hi guys, good morning. As cryptomancer said, Ethereum Deposits and withdrawal has been finished. It's actually live on our staging website for tribal decks. Me and cryptomancer both tested it. It works really well, but sure could use some niceties. I have no prior experience with MetaMask, so some of the errors is not shown on the UI. So we will add that. I will add that in near future when I will get more exposure to the MetaMask. So that's done. Also, the fixes for the NFT showroom is done. Develop.io is also functioning very well. There all the requests has been taken care of, and right now my main focus would be to add catch-all NFTs to the OpenHive or tribal decks, and then probably move to the Tribe 2.0.
Yeah, so he used the term catch-all NFTs. So like on Lenzy, you're supposed to do photography, and on NFT Showroom, you're supposed to do art. But there's no place to just put your like cat pics or your recipes, or you just want to sing a song for your brother and send it along. There's no like random place to just make a video, GIF, or image for whatever purpose. So we're adding like an any category NFT for whatever purpose you want onto tribal decks, and it's going to be through OpenHive. So that's one of the plans, and then we want to make it so that, you know, adding NFTs can be done in your tribe. So when we're talking about Tribe 2.0, it's this kind of form to go make NFTs. But, you know, if it's the PAL tribe, it's going to cost you PAL to go mint those NFTs, and then you will trade those NFTs for PAL on your PAL marketplace. And then you can imagine that extending to all these different ecosystems as well. Riaz, how long do you think that we'll get Ethereum on the front end and like live this week? Do you think that we'll get? Do you think that we'll get the catch-all NFTs on OpenHive live this week?
Yeah, Ethereum is very easy to get live. We just have to need some backend changes from to move from QA to the live mainnet, and I am pretty confident that we will have the catch-all NFTs this week on live on Tribal Dex.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a big week. I don't know what else to say, but that sounds. Hey, you know this thing that we wanted to do for 2 years? Yeah, that's live. Oh, you know that the hottest freaking thing in crypto, these NFTs? Yeah, that's live. I mean, that. I don't know, guys. You're freaking killing it. This team is freaking killing it. So very dreamy, pretty awesome, and thanks everybody for doing that. All right, Lion, you've been gone for a little bit. Personally, congratulations on the cool stuff happening in your life. I won't mention them specifically, but many kudos to you, and this team is stoked for you. We're also stoked that you're back and you're able to go participate with us again. Like, where are you on DSwap? What are your priorities, and what's your plan on executing? Kind of give us some general guidelines or timelines of what you think will happen.
Yeah, thanks, Aggroed. Good to be back. It was a couple of weeks back when I told you about it, but I missed a couple of weeks' work. But I see that you guys just don't stand still and just keep moving on. So it's good to hear that a lot of awesome stuff is already in there and almost go live. I will basically catch up with the stuff I was already doing, the DSwap for cryptos. I was pretty far with the implementation. Was already testing with Litecoin and Dogecoin. So this week I will try to finalize this DSwap for cryptos. That's my main priority. And then I will move on to implementing this deposit and withdrawal of ETH. I will see what Riaz already did in Tribal Dex. So it needs to be implemented in the classic website and in DSwap too. So that's my priority list. And I also need to support Bait with some questions he has for Hive-Engine Classic. Sorry, Bait, I was not really online last week, but I'll try to make some time support you this week.
There's one thing I was wondering. So you just mentioned like adding the Ethereum support to the Hive-Engine Classic website, and Riaz has done that for Tribal Dex. I kind of wonder, now that we're adding a whole bunch of stuff to Tribal Dex and we have all this new stuff coming along, and it's kind of a chore to be duplicating that work again for the Hive-Engine Classic site. Have you guys given any thought to when we might be able to start phasing out that site and just move primarily to the Tribal Dex site? Like, is that something that we want to work towards at some point?
You know, I kind of want to keep Hive-Engine Classic around because I feel like it is less overwhelming than... I don't want to add everything. I really want to just keep it to fungible tokens. I'll keep pools off of it. I'll keep all this other stuff off. I'm not going to add NFTs. It's just for trading these simpler tokens. So that's my vision for that, because I feel like we're going to have a lot of new people. Those new people won't have any clue what all this crap is. It's really complicated when you first start to wrap your head around any of it. And I feel like having one site where like it's the simplest implementation of a fungible token market and that's it is actually pretty advantageous. So maybe I would even like strip down like their services and Scottbot, and that stuff is living on Hive-Engine Classic to some extent. Like I would remove all of that and really just have this be the bare bones fungible token exchange, and then not update it past like adding new tokens when we add them. What do you think about that, Mancer?
All right, yeah, I think that kind of makes sense. I mean, you're right. There's so much stuff going on that for a new user just coming on board, I mean, it could be a pretty overwhelming experience. they have to kind of gradually get used to things one step at a time. So yeah, that sounds sensible.
So that's my thought. That's my plan, and hopefully it's not that big of a burden, right? Like adding a couple other like gateway tokens here and there, gateway crypto shouldn't be that bad. All right. Bait, do you want to go talk us through where you're at? You're making a mobile version of Hive-Engine Classic, and I've been talking to you some about this Doll's avatar project. Let's talk these through.
Yeah, I've actually come very close to conclusion, like I said during the last meeting. So I think it shouldn't exit this week at all. Before we have our first release, it shouldn't exit this week at all. So I think that'll be concerning Hive-Engine Mobile. Then while trying to deploy Bchatter to the App Store, to the Apple App Store, I realized that they've actually made some changes to their policies based on the recent update in the iOS operating system. I think that was with Big Sur. So I had to, do some additional tweaking with the build of the initial application so that I'll be able to upload it, because the way distribution works on the App Store is not the same with Android. For Android, I can just have a bundled APK and upload it to the Play Store, but for this, it has to follow a very, very opinionated process, which is what I have to do under the new update released by the Apple team. But I think that shouldn't exist this week as well. I was actually working on that before the meeting started. So I think before the end of today, I should be able to release Bchatter on iOS for review. So and that's it concerning Bchatter and Hive-Engine. Hive-Engine shouldn't exist this week. We should have a test flight to work with internally then before we take it public.
That's pretty awesome. So if anybody had a little bit of difficulty with the accent, it sounds like Bchatter on iOS is going out by this week, as well as Hive-Engine Classic on both Android and iOS all this week. Is that correct?
Yeah, sure. That's what I said.
Yeah, amazing. All right, so that's going to free you up. The two things that I want to do, I've made I helped a couple people make a tribe recently, and it's a lot of steps. And I know that all the steps you're able to do on various parts of tribal decks, but it's not documented. It's not like if you go and try to create a tournament on Splinterlands, it gives you a window. There's like a little map up at the top. It shows you all the different steps you have to do, and you're going through form after form after form, and then you're able to launch. And that whole process isn't clearly mapped on tribal decks. It all functions, but it's not as nice of a user experience as I would like. So that's one project that's high on my mind, either doing that as a separate website or really making it so that getting Scottbot up and running or getting the tribes when we switch to the smart contract version is just like clean, and you know the steps and you know what you have to do. And hopefully there's some default options, like just give me the PoundNet coin and let me tweak 3 things, which isn't, there's not like a way to just grab somebody else's token as a default. So there's stuff there. Then there would be stuff like getting the airdrop and the claim drop working, because that's part of kind of creating your tribe and getting it running. So that's out there. That's one project. And the other project, I've written about it on my personal blog once or twice. It's trying to get a doll working. Holy crap, look at that. So yeah, this is great. I didn't realize you were this far along. But I had an artist go through and make like a ton of this art. And it looks like those pants aren't quite fitting, and the shoes are a little bit off. So maybe I got to go back to the artist or something. But it looks a little bit wonky right this second. But yeah, this is entirely the right idea. And this would be sort of like another staking project where like you buy your NFTs. The NFTs are going to you will like add them to your doll. When you add them, you're technically staking them, and then as you stake them, you're able to start earning tokens. And so I feel like getting this avatar system up and running. You know, the first one of these is just like women's fashion, but I think it's going to be widely applicable. And again, my goal is to go bake something like this into every single tribe. So if you want to if you got the cat tribe, we'll help you make little cat avatars. And if you're like the medieval castle tribe, you can go make your knights. And if you're like a World War II tribe, you can go make your soldiers. And maybe you'll have your Axis bad guys and your allies good guys and whatever. You know, like there's going to be a million different options for how you put this stuff together. But the general format should be relatively consistent. You know, like you have an NFT, you sell them in packs, and after you sell them, people equip them. You know, you have like something that's static. You equip them onto the thing that's static, and then over time we upgrade the shit out of this, and so then we make it so that you could purchase this girl dancing, you could purchase this girl singing, you could purchase this girl doing like high kicks in a line, or who knows what. You know, your tanks could start firing. You can talk trash. All this stuff starts being possible, and I want to make one for this doll and get it up and running. And then once that's done, I want to try to extrapolate what we've done and make it so that all the tribes can have their own avatar system. If these were all SVG layers. All right, I can go, some are actually too large. The image resolutions aren't consistent. Okay, so I'll go communicate that back, that we need these, we need all of these as SVG layers. All right, we can talk a little bit about how I should phrase that, or if that's the exact phrasing. But that's what I'll go buzzer for that. And if you want to give me the exact request, like, hey, as we want to develop this, it'll be a lot easier. Can you please save all these files together as one big SVG? Like, I need to know the right way to phrase that, and then I can go back to my artist and ask for it. Looks like we lost line. Well, yeah. So your concerns are good. I need to, but you need to give me like, how do I request for this? But we're on a recording, so we can do some fine tuning of the language here in a bit. But that's fun. I mean, that's the doll that I had in mind. It's pretty awesome to see her start coming together with the different clothes and whatnot. Exciting stuff. So I know that you're able to do this, sort of like putting this together. How hard do you think it's going to be to make a front end to put this doll stuff together? Lion? Or not lion, bait?
Yeah, it's doable. Getting the minimum viable product out is actually I'm going to be using React with SAS, so that I can actually use very minimalistic code for both all of the eyes, all of the nose, all of the mouths, and just like that. So I think I have to use SAS as against bare CSS. That should be able to, handle the variables. So each one of them is actually going to be HTML sections overlapping each other. Then as the user selects them, we display them conditionally.
So part of what I'd be really excited to do is allow like different brands basically to come along. So like I want to sell the Hive-Engine official version, but like, you know, you can imagine if this thing blows up and every little girl wants it or something, then like Macy's or View or something 21, I don't know, like any kind of like girls clothing store might want to have a brand on this. So it might start with just we might need this as like it starts with just individual artists wanting to contribute their own, but at some point it could get to like corporate entities that want to have digital versions of this. So I want to facilitate that. So as we're building in, as you're making this website, it's really important to me that there's a way, not just for us as the issuers to create these and sell them in packs, but for us to facilitate a way for like Macy's or JCPenney or Sears or somebody else to come along and make their own versions of these things as well. Does that make sense, Pete?
Yes, makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. So what I think the artist should do in this case is to, you know, make all of the eyes the same size and fit naturally into the face. Make all of the nose the same size, fit naturally into the face, and all the lips. So that it's going to help us be more dynamic, as against having to combine like the various components and making already made images. But if all of the sizes are consistent, so all we just need to do is just you know, conditionally add styling to each one of them to know which one to display, because they all have unique names. So we can, through the names or the IDs, conditionally display which one, as long as the sizing are the same. But if the sizing are not the same as what we have now, if a user should click on a new set of eye, the size and resolution might actually blow out of proportion.
Okay. All right, I'm going to send what Riaz sent to the artist, and if you have anything you want to send to the artist, you should go give me some text for that. But I you know, how long do you think it'll take to get like a minimum viable product for this? Can we do this in March?
Yeah, I think it's doable into the end of March.
All right. Well, that sounds good. Let's go do that. All right. Other stuff that you guys want on the public recorded call? Anything else that is on your brains?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Hearing no concerns, I'm going to go stop this recording. I'm going to say thanks to the Hive-Engine developer team. You guys are awesome. It's fun to see this stuff progressing, and really excited to go bake everything at the tribes and see this thing go out there for all the people that are doing this. So thanks everybody. Thanks for listening. And you know, we're going to get you some ERC20s. We'll get you Ethereum. We'll get you some rewards for the diesel pools. We'll get you NFTs on tribal decks, and then NFTs baked into all the tribes. It's going to be awesome. All right, guys, that's it for this week, and we'll be back on the 8th and sharing the next update. Thanks, everyone.